gentlemen, I'm your host for today, Insane Larry 13, as we're preparing to load up for our race today at Silverstone in the land of Great Britain, one of the oldest tracks in Formula One history. In fact, not only is it one of the oldest tracks in Formula One history, it was the host of the very first F1 Grand Prix back in 1950. And we've seen numerous different races on many different layouts here. Today, we're going to be looking at another run on the more modern layout, perfectly, well, in theory at least, designed for the hybrid V8s and V6s that have been run in Formula One since 2009. Everyone is beginning to ready up real quickly as we get ready to get onto the circuit itself. But before we get to the race itself, per usual, we're going to do the normal 3 sets of qualifying, where round 1 of quali has all of the drivers going into it, and only the top 15 get out. It is the perfect time to see who may or may not have pace in the race itself. Before we get too far into it though, I do want to go ahead and look over the points battle as they stand right now. So, as I go ahead and pull it up, the points system, the points have changed just a little bit because one of our top drivers earlier in the season has already dropped out. As we look real quickly at the standings, assuming they were updated after the last weekend. Yep, here we are. When it comes to the manufacturer standings, leading in there is Aston Martin. They have 126 points, with Scuderia Ferrari having 100 exactly, Red Bull having 72 points, McLaren having 65, Mercedes have 62, Haas has 55, Alpine has 49, Alfa Romeo has 42, AlphaTauri has 31, and Williams has 16. In the Drivers' Championship, it's a little bit different. ITZ and Constant Jet still are tied at the bottom with no points each. Trey 9530 has a single point, Plastic Love has 4, Fratters has 7, Dave Ewart 23 is 15th, and he has 10 points. X Hits the Spot has 12 points in a direct tie with XRL Pingu. TIR Flavor has earned 14 points thus far this season. Ocean Lion 08 has earned 17 points, just one off of Wild Nissan GTR, who is 10th in standings with 18. 24 points for Boothie 116, who honestly should be in a much higher position, but just bad luck and a little bit of misfortune have really hurt him badly thus far this season. XRL Snake has 29 points, Collie Boy has 32, Schold has 39, Stone Shuffle has 43, Schumacher SF7 has 46, XRL Fiend has 49, Chubby IX Spark has 53, and XRL Gusty has 68. That is our lineup when it comes to points thus far, and already Trey has retired from the session. He is serving a qualifying ban in today's event. There may be one more driver who shows up before we get too deep into this qualifying session 1, but I'm not going to count on it. For right now, we're going to assume that 18 drivers will attempt to set laps here, and the first one of them all is this man here, Plastic Love, one of your top contenders in the championship and trying to bring home good runs for the Red Bull team in the manufacturer's points. A little bit farther back on the track, you can see Schold on the run down. This is the same corner right here where Hamilton dumped Max Verstappen. Not intentionally, but it was a dump. And XRL Fiend has also retired in the pits as well. So that's 2 drivers who will not advance in the next round, will not even attempt to set a single lap in the session. Also out on track right now is Chubby IX Spark. He is 2nd in the points right now. He was en route to have a respectable points day at Austria last weekend. However, things went really south for him in the very closing laps of the event, and he ended up earning no points whatsoever. He'll be looking to turn things around for the Ferrari team this race here at Silverstone. Ferrari has had success here, as has the Schumacher name, and that is Chubby's teammate, Schumacher SF7. We're going to go silent for a lap and ride on board with Chubby IX Spark in the Ferrari at Silverstone. and he invalidates it. It does not seem like Shelby is extremely confident with what the Ferrari can do at the moment. A little bit farther back on the track behind him, though, is Boothie 116. He has always been fascinating in qualifying, and right now he's in the middle of a good lap on the run down to the final corners now. We led off and almost coast through the very opening part of that bit. Then it's another short straightaway until this final chicane. Bit of an awkward one, but he's able to get through without issue. Down the run to the start-finish line. Boothie goes to the top, 128.496. Is the second driver thus far who has set a lap. Books is starting to get on circuit, as is XRL Pingu. We're going to ride on board with Pingu and maybe see if Pingu can set a proper flying lap here. And another invalidation through Maggots and Beckett. It seems like we're having trouble actually finding someone who can get a proper lap going. ITZ is still a long way out from gaining a lap. We will eventually get a full lap on board with somebody. Here's another driver who's invalidated throughout Maggots and Beckett's. This is Aaron Mar 04, one of the newer drivers within X3. He has slid into the Williams seat for today. Urbago 91 has recently come onto the circuit. He's preparing to get a flyer lap going. Pingu coming to the line to begin another lap. He set a 131.9. He definitely let off there in the final sector after realizing the time was invalidated, so he could get ready, recharge the ERS for another flyer as he's already on it once more. Oh, and there's a spin, and I think that's Books. It is Books. And Books has had a spin in Sector 2. But it looks like he will be able to get going before he ends up being an issue for the Ferrari of Shelby Smart. And again, Shelby, another invalid lap. For him, with the fuel light low, he is going to be coming into the pits for sure on this cycle. 18-minute session, and already we've gone through 6.5, and only 3 drivers have been able to set a proper lap time. Books is in a scenario where it looks like he'll be able to set a lap, but he had so going to be so off pace, it's not really going to matter any. Pingu, though, is in the middle. Oh, and there's an Alpine that's gone around back there. That's Aaron Mar. I'm sorry, that's not an Alpine, that's a Williams. It's so easy to get those two confused because of similar color schemes. So that's 2 drivers who have spun out in that sector of the racetrack. As I was saying, Pingu does look like he's on the way to being the 4th driver to set a lap time, but his fuel light is flashing right now, and I'll be very interested to see if he's going to commit to this lap. No, he invalidates, so that's it. He's going to have to come into the pits now. So drivers not being able to set times has been the big thing. Books set a 2-minute lap time, and it still is good considering that he's one of only 4 drivers thus far who have been able to set a lap. So everyone is struggling significantly with both keeping their car straight and keeping the car on the legal parts of the circuit. This is Schumacher F7 in the Ferrari coming out of Maggots and Beckett's. He's going to try and get a proper flying lap after his teammate Shelby Smart burned 2 laps with no results. We're going to ride on board with this man here for a lap and see if maybe he can pull off a nice clean lap here at Silverstone. Schumacher seems to have significantly more confidence than his teammate Chubby Spark. It's still invalidated in the same parts throughout Maggots and Beckett's. If this keeps up in the race itself, we may see a lot. And there's a Red Bull incident, and a Red Bull has had an accident, and that is Gusty, who has come to nearly a complete stop. He's back underway now. I don't see any damage to the car. Maybe he just pulled over and let other drivers by. He's going to try and get a flying lap, so we'll try and run on board with him and see if maybe he can get a proper lap going. Gusty is one of 4 drivers who have put together a proper lap thus far in the session. The 129.137. Again, we've gone through half of the time in the session and only 5 drivers have set a time. Books, honestly, could be in a decent position because he, with his 2-minute lap time, is actually a valid time. And of the other, 11 other drivers, no one else has set a proper time thus far. Fratters has had an accident. Fratters has had an accident there. Like Fratters has been taken out of the session. Try and get Fratters in here real quickly and hear what happened to him. But a McLaren issue once more, rearing its ugly head. As Hurabago is out there, he's down by 6 seconds on time and the fuel light is flashing. So for all intents and purposes, this is a cooldown lap. Stone Shuffle, the only Mercedes driver in the session, as his teammate Trey, 9530, retired early. He got through Sector 2 and through Maggots and Beckett's cleanly. But we've seen other drivers get this far and then invalidate right afterwards. 6 drivers at this point have put down, now 7 drivers have put down proper lap time. Schumacher with a 128.917. And here comes Stone Shuffle. He'll be the 8th driver to set a lap time, 128.833. So it's coming a little late in the session, but drivers are finally starting to figure out where the track limits are and how to keep them proper. As it stands right now, though, everyone except 1 driver will advance if they just can set a lap time. This is TIR Flavor, not the fastest driver by any means, but he gets a lot of his points and a lot of his results by just not making mistakes or making his mistakes away from everybody else so no one else can capitalize. He's usually significantly off pace, but all it takes is a late race yellow, and the fact that he very rarely cures time penalty for track violations usually means that through penalty countback, he ends up flying up through the field post-race. Chubby Spark in the Ferrari to the top with a 128.117. As we're watching TIR Flavor, he is now beginning the run down to Maggots Beckett's. There's one more high-speed, near full throttle corner. He lets off just for a moment, but he stays very cleanly within track limits. And that's the other thing, Chubby doesn't really go, not Chubby, Flavor doesn't go really hard pushing for every single bit that the track can give. He will give the track some respect and hold back a bit in order to make sure that he doesn't make a mistake. We see him time and time again finishing races with no time penalties or only 3 seconds worth of time penalties. That has been his biggest strength, although he's been relatively weak in qualifying. He's not had very many appearances in Q2 whatsoever across Dev, X3, and XRL, and has had no appearances in Q3. Can he make it out of Q1 in this session? He is coming out of the final corner, and he'll set a time of 130.278, so that's a moderately competitive lap time. ITZ and V8 Irons have yet to set lap times, and ITZ has invalidated the lap that he's in the middle of right now. Books goes to the top now with a 127.892. It took a while, but he finally knocked off the slower lap time they had and put down a proper one. He is the first driver to break the 128 barrier in today's session, and as it stands right now, it's down to ITZ and V8 Irons. One of them will advance into the next round of qualifying, and one of them may not. There's also Aaron Marr to consider as well, because Aaron Marr is in this position where if ITZ and V8 Irons both put together good laps, he would be on the outside looking in the Williams. He's on the run down the start-finish line. Will he improve? He does by 3 full seconds, so he moves himself up to 3rd with a 128.235. So now it's Pingu who's going to be in a little bit more. Oh, and ITZ has had an issue, and Pingu has had an issue, and both ITZ and Pingu have both had incidents on this lap, and ITZ was in the middle of another flyer lap attempt before this spin. That's the same area on the track where Fratters had his spin that took him out of this session. V8 Irons still has yet to make a move to come out of the pit lane, and there's a little bit less than 4 minutes left. Constant Jet retires from the session. He feels very confident with the time that he has set. So right now it's between these three drivers. TIR Flavor also might end up being a factor because he may have to go out and send another lap if Pingu, ITZ, and V8 Irons all get good laps going. But Pingu seems to be extremely slow. The fuel is very low on that car right now. I don't know if he's going to have what it's necessary to get time to get into the pit lane, put on new tires, and go for another lap. There's a little bit more than 3 minutes left in the session right now, and a lap here is about 90 seconds. He'd have to come in, and he'd have to get from here into pit lane, come in, refuel up, and put on new tires, all in about 90 seconds, and then get back on track immediately if he wants a chance to better his lap. ITZ, invalid, and there's significant front wing damage from that incident he had earlier. V8 Irons is now finally beginning his outlap. So V8 Irons looking to play spoiler. Plastic Love has retired from the session with a 129.965. He feels confident that that time will not be beat. So for right now, it's Pingu, ITZ, and Irons, as both of them are coming into the pits now. There's not going to be enough time for him to get another shot at this. Almost everyone else is just doing 1 or 2 more laps to see what else they can pull out of the cars. But we're going to go silent and right on board V8 Irons to see if maybe he can give us that mystical onboard clean lap here at Silverstone, because if he doesn't, he may not get another chance. And there you see it, folks. V8 Irons has played spoiler, and ITZ retires without being able to set a single lap time. So V8 Irons is in, Pingu is in, Flavor is in, Plastic Love is in, Schultz is in, Schumacher SF7 is in, Herbago is in, Boothie 116 is in, XX the Spy is in, Constant Jet is in, XRL Gusty is in, Stone Shuffle is in, Aaron Mar 04 is in, Shelby IX Spark is in, and the fastest of the day, after spinning out and being extremely slow on his first lap, he ends up setting a time in the 127s is XXX Bucks XXX. That is your 15 drivers that will advance out of Q1. There are still a few drivers out on track trying to see if they can do anything else. But right now, Herbago is the only one in position to improve. There's not really any incentive for him to. V8 Irons is also in the... Oh, V8 Irons actually might be going faster. He's up by 2/10 at the end of Sector 1 alone. Can he keep it clean through Maggots and Beckett's again? The answer would appear to be yes. He's up by over a third of a second at the end of Sector 2. So V8 Irons seems to think that he can go even faster. Will he commit to this lap or will he come into the pits? If he goes this much faster, he would end up being 5th rather than 6, and yes, he's going to commit to it. The fuel light is flashing on the Alfa Romeo. There's not a lot of ERS left. It doesn't matter because he's coming out of the final corner now, and will he improve? He does by 13 hundredths, and that's good enough to bring him up into 3rd. Herbago also in a position to go up on time, but he is low on fuel and will not get a chance to actually improve. He is 6 seconds down already, and everyone else is in the middle of an invalid lap. So the lineup you see now is what you get in the spread from top to bottom is going to be roughly a 2.1 second spread. I'm sorry, 2.5 second spread. Here's your end result. These are the 4 drivers that will not advance. Trey 9530, XRL Fiend, Fratters, and ITZ. Fiend and Trey serving time penalties. Fratters crashed out, and ITZ was not able to set a single proper lap. As Pingu, Flavor, Love, Schold, Schumacher, Herbago, Boothie, X, Constant Jet, XRL Gusty, Stone Shuffle, Aaron Mar, V8 Irons, Kelby X Spark, and Books will all advance into the next session. They prepare to get set up for qualifying session 2, and this is where the top 15 go in. The top 10 fastest at the end of this have their tire choice locked in for the start of the race and get a chance to go into Q3. So like I say, every single time you could, if you take a drink every time I say this, you're going to end up with gradual liver poisoning. So I please ask that you do not take a drink every time I say this. But the drivers, we see time and time again, people are like, oh yeah, I want to run mediums. They want to start the race on mediums and then jump onto a different tire compound later. So they'll go ahead, get out there, set laps on mediums right away, and then they will realize, oh crap, this is not a good enough time on the mediums for me to get into Q3. And they throw strategy out the window and throw on a set of softs to try and go even farther up, and they throw away their strategy for a better start position. We've seen time and time again that happens, so will we see it again today? We've also seen a handful of times before where the medium tires are faster than the softs, which happened last week at Austria. And Aaron Mar is going to be the first driver out on circuit there in the Williams. Already a train of cars coming out, and right now it seems relatively even between medium and soft tire compounds, although I imagine we'll see more and more drivers liking to throw on mediums as this goes on. This is Schold, as both of the Haas's, Schold and Pingu, made it in. Pingu by the skin of his teeth, but he is in. See Gusty pulled over farther up there. He wants a little bit more clean track than what's currently being afforded to him. Boothie holding back to try and get more clean track, but that in the process of holding up Schold, that's the issue that happens when too many drivers try to gain out on track at the same time. It's just people end up being in each other's way and really compromises and hurts their times. Already about half of the circuit is out on the track. Half the field, I mean, is out on the track. Herbago is one of the more recent drivers, so have just now gotten out. This is Gusty. He pulled over earlier to try and get more room, and he still has a Ferrari. I believe that's Shelby who's ahead of him. So Gusty's going to have to hope that Shelby is nice and fast enough that he's not going to end up compromising his lap. Gusty had an entire circuit to warm up the tires. He's choosing to run his first lap here on the medium tire compounds. Shelby up ahead is on the softs, so that should help Gusty a little bit, because in theory that means that Shelby should be able to get through these corners a little bit faster and open up a little bit more of a gap. Now down the main straight, the first of what could basically be seen as 4 straightaways here. 28.092 at the end of Sector 1. For Gusty. No Mercedes to dump the Red Bull Honda here. It's still qualifying. He's closed in a little bit on the Ferrari as now they enter Maggots and Beckett's. I think the Ferrari is just far enough off the road that while he will be feeling aerodynamic weight, it shouldn't be enough to seriously compromise the lap. Barr, fastest lap thus far, 128.605. That's the time that everyone else is going to be going after. And first to challenge those times will be the Haas's of Pingu and Schold, as we're watching Gusty and Chubby Spark in the middle of their laps right now. Schold with a 130.205. Boothie to the top with a 128.468. Here comes Chubby and here comes... And Pingu's out! And Pingu's had an accident! And Pingu out of Q2 in an accident. Couldn't really get a view as to where he was on track, but we're going to try and get Pingu in here and see what happened. But an accident right after trying to set a lap is going to compromise his run, and Pingu will not have any shot of making it into the next round. Exits the spot. He's invalidated the lap he's in the middle of. Plastic Love, though, is still in the middle of a valid lap. At the line, 129.449. So at the moment, medium tires dominate. Chubby is down on time compared to his last one. I think he's just going to use this as an in-lap. Ravago, not a very competitive lap. Mar to the top again with a 128.065. So it seems to be a shootout between Mar and Boothie at the moment. V8 Irons is on an outlap right now, and TIR Flavor is in the middle of a proper lap as he is navigating Maggots and Beckett's. Just 3 more corners left for Flavor. Made it into Q2. Not very frequently that we see him in the second qualifying session, but he made it in with a little bit of luck and some good fortune, and he sets a time of 130.801. That's the second fastest on the softs, but overall that's the second slowest, and this seems to be another day where the medium tires might be faster than the softs. V8 Irons is now beginning his flyer. Irons was the last driver to set a time in the prior session. Actually, the last two of the last 3 valid lap times set in Q1 were set by this man. So last session, he laid it all on the table until the last moments. Here, he's going out relatively early to try and establish himself nice and quickly in the session. Irons on the run down now to Maggots and Beckett's. There's one more near full throttle corner through here. For the moment, Irons has kept it clean. There's just one more bend left through here, and he's clean. He's heckin' valid. 104.564 at the end of Sector 2 as he's on the run to the start-finish line. There are 4 corners left. Now 3 corners as he goes to the chicane. 2 corners, and now on the run to the final corner, full throttle, high, wide, and handsome. Irons at the time of 128.633, and it does seem that indeed the medium tires are apparently faster than the softs here, which is a very interesting scenario to say the least. Book's in the middle of an outlap right now, as is X Hits the Spot, who is about to start his flyer. Constant Jet is on an outlap. Schumacher SF7 is on an outlap. Stone Shuffle, and the Mercedes is going to try and make something happen with the soft tire compounds. Chubby, who set his best lap thus far on the softs, has elected to swap onto mediums, and he's going to go for another gander with the mediums, because again, it seems like the mediums are faster than the softs, like what we saw last week at Austria. He's caught in the drag half behind the Red Bull. But the Red Bull Plastic Glove will pull over, but Stone Shuffle will get a nice little advantage of draft down that straightaway, so I'm sure that will help his lap time a little bit. He needs to keep it clean through Maggots and Beckett's. We saw throughout Q1 a bunch of drivers invalidate there. It doesn't seem to be as much of an issue in this session, though. Into Maggots and Beckett's. You enter in 8th gear, you can take the first bend near flat out, the second near flat out, and then you have to start bringing the gears down while trying to keep the car in line and find the quick line. He's still clean, 104.422 at the end of Sector 2. His teammate did not get a chance to qualify in Q1, so right now in qualifying, all of Mercedes' hopes rest on Stone Shuffle. Coming to the line. It will be a valid lap, but will it be fast? It is! 128.534. That's the best lap time by the softs we've seen thus far by a significant margin. Schumacher is in the middle of the lap right now, as is Constant Jet, who has had an accident. Constant Jet has had an accident in the middle of his lap, and the entire front wing is gone on the car, and it looks like he's in a position that he might end up holding up Chubby IX Spark, who is in the middle of his flying lap on the medium tires. Chubby is still clear, and thankfully Constant Jet will move out of the way, so Chubby is still going to go for a proper lap. There's only one car between himself and the line right now, and that's the Haas of Scholl. Scholl is far enough up the track, though, that he shouldn't be an issue whatsoever. What can Chubby do? Coming to the final chicane, and on the run down to the start-finish line. A significant improvement, 128.622. So as it stands right now, exits the spot has gone to the top with a 127.859, and he's done it on the soft tire compounds. Constant Jet comes into the pits. So as it stands right now, this man here, Hurbago, is on the bubble with 129.161, as Scholl, Plastic Glove, and TIR Flavor are on the outside looking in. Plastic Glove is still on a set of mediums, trying to see if he can improve time and knock Hurbago out. Scholl is on track as well, but his fuel is getting low. This may be his only shot. Plastic Glove on the run to the line, he will set a time of 130.321, so he's down on time compared to his prior lap. Scholl has pulled over there in Sector 2. He is almost totally out of fuel. It's going to be very difficult for him to get back to pit lane, and I don't know if he'll have enough time to get properly fueled back up. Hurbago is going back out on another outlap, as is XRL Gusty. They want to protect their position in the top 10. Hurbago is equipped softs, while Gusty has also equipped softs. So this is it. This is the point where we're seeing drivers throwing strategy out the window to try and secure their spot in the top 10. It seems like at this point the softs might not be as slow as once thought, because Stone Shuffle and Exits the Spot have set two of the fastest times thus far on the soft tire compounds. Plastic Glove has invalidated the lap he was in the middle of. He's already brought it down a little bit. He's on the rush to get in the pit lane, and I imagine we'll see him equip softs in a last-ditch effort to try and make a faster lap. Constant Jet is coming out of the pits now. This will be his only shot at being able to make this happen. And on that car, on the Alpine, they have equipped a set of soft tire compounds. No movement from TIR Flavors pit. So it seems like he's going to settle with the fact that he will have no chance of making it into Q3. Now Hurbago began his flying lap on the softs. Will he be faster this lap than his prior best lap? At the end of Sector 1, is he up on time? He is, by 93 thousandths. This bit right here is where the soft tire compound should be significantly better than the mediums. Looking relatively smooth. There is an Alpine ahead. Or is that Williams? No, it's a Williams as X hits the spot, who's on another outlap. He thinks he can go faster. V8 Irons has retired from this session. He feels confident with his time. Bago needs to keep it clean through here, through the Magnussen-Beckett's complex. He does so. He's up by 17 hundredths at the end of Sector 2. He might be able to overcome Gusty's time thus far on the board. As he's coming through the final chicane. Less than a minute left in the session. What does Trivago do? He jumps over Gusty and V8 Irons. He goes to 8. So now V8 Irons might be in the drop zone. Gusty is invalidated the lap he's in the middle of. Schold, Plastic Glove, and TIR Flavor are all on out laps, and they all will make it to the line in time for another shot at the... Well, no, Plastic Glove's not going to make it. Plastic Glove is not going to have enough time to make it to the start-finish line, and I don't know if Schold's going to make it either. There's 24 seconds left, and Schold has to really hustle if he wants a shot to make it to the line. Constant Jet is in the middle of a lap right now. He has not been able to set a lap all day today in the session. 104.162 at the end of Sector 2. Schold makes it to the line. There is five. Oh, and a massive accident! And Plastic Glove is out! And Plastic Glove is at a huge accident there on the back straightaway. Constant Jet trying to get to the line. 128.188. This puts V8 Irons on the drop zone. Gusty has got a lap going, as does Schold. Either of these two drivers could knock V8 Irons out of the top 10. And Plastic Glove has had a massive accident that will take him out of the session. It comes down to Gusty and Schold. Gusty will be the first of the two to cross the line. He goes through Magnussen-Beckett's, the section that has invalidated many drivers left today. He's up by 6/10 at the end of Sector 2. Gusty may have the speed to knock Irons out of the top. The fuel light is flashing, but he's going to ignore it. There's just 3 quarters left for the Honda of Gusty. Schold is also still in the middle of his lap. We're going to see 2 drivers maybe set a flying time to make it in at the last moment. Gusty is in. Irons is out. What about Schold? Is he in or out? Books jumps up to second now, so it's going to be Bookie who might get squeezed out. I couldn't see what his time was at the line, sadly. Did Schold make it in? No, he did not. The Haas did not make it in. And Boothie will advance. And these are the drivers who will advance into the next session. We're going to try and get Plastic Glove in here to see what happened. And that massive accident there on the back on one of the straights. Alright, and coming into the party right now with us is Plastic Glove. Plastic, go ahead, include your audio. A massive accident while you were trying to race to the start-finish line to set a lap. What happened out there?
I guess I thought I had like a minute or 2 left, so I was like coming around those 2 corners. I'm like, let's get some heat into the tires, and then I just kind of, I lost it, hit the wall. And I mean, it didn't matter anyways. There's no time left. I thought I had like a minute left, but it's unfortunate.
All right, so now the question is, do you think you can make your way back up through the field and into the points-paying positions in the race itself?
Yeah, absolutely. What, P13? It's not bad. Start on the mediums, hards. I think I can do it.
Actually, that does lead to the other question. What do you think is the best tire compound to start the race at? I was talking to XRL X3 earlier before the day, and he's a former X2 driver, now in X2 and X1. He says that the best strategy is to go medium to soft or soft to medium. But you seem to think the hards are a viable strategy. So what is the best strategy for this race, assuming no early lap accidents?
Assuming no early lap accidents, I would start on the hards, but judging from qualifying, I would start in the mediums just so I have faster tires, so I don't have to like instantly pit, stuff like that.
Alright, well, we'll be looking to you and your attempt to try and make it up through the grid, and hopefully your teammate Gusty can put together a good run in the other Red Bull car. I want to thank Classic Love for being willing to share his opinion and thoughts, and hopefully he does put on a great show on his charge back up to the top 10. The first driver to get on the track in this session is Boothie, and Boothie finally gets a little bit of luck going his way. It looked like he was going to get squeezed out, but neither Haas was able to advance to the next session, and that worked out in Boothie's favor as he barely made the cut into Q3. Now he's going to try and set the time that everyone else will be chasing. Schumacher and Chubby IX Smart are playing a little bit of an interesting strategy here. Chubby is close up to Schumacher that he can get a DRS draft off of him down the straights potentially, and that might help Chubby in lap time. Both of these drivers fighting for the championship, but right now Chubby is higher in points than Schumacher. Backs off a little bit to let the lead Ferrari take a little bit of a gap, so that way he's not going to be compromising his lap time. The gap opens up significantly though. I think they're still close enough that Chubby will still get a little bit of aerodynamic weight. Oh, and he invalidates immediately. What about Schumacher? It's still clean for him. He's ahead of Chubby, so the attempt by the Ferraris to try and get Chubby going for a nice assisted lap goes out the window almost immediately. And as it stands right now, everyone except Stone Shuffle is out on track, either in the middle of a lap or about to begin a lap. No one around this Ferrari right now. After a little bit of struggles in Q1, both Ferraris have made their way into Q3. Not super confident in the car, it looks like through Maggis and Beckett's, but it's still clean. He's still got it going. 104.851 at the end of Sector 2. No more DRS zones on this lap for Schumacher. It's just the chicane and then the run to the line. Boothie, 127.94. It's the time everyone's going to be chasing. What will Schumacher's answer be? A 128.882. Next driver to cross the line will be the Red Bull of XRL Gusty, the only Red Bull to make it into Q3. He sets a 127.971. Here comes Herbago to begin a flying lap. Exits the spot will be the fourth driver to set a lap time. He really underfueled that car, going for the fastest lap as possible, 127.867 in the Williams, and he'll be pitting almost immediately afterwards. Books is going to cross the line to the top, 127.462. Aaron Marr has invalidated his lap, and Shelby is going for another attempt now. Invalidated really early on his prior lap, so he's able to back down quickly, immediately go to save fuel, and build the ERS back up to full. There's no one ahead of him right now. Oh, and a spin! And he spins! Coming out of the corner. No damage. He doesn't hit anything, though. But a significant spin, but he will be back underway. As long as the tires aren't damaged, he still should have enough fuel and ERS to go for one more lap. Constant Jet is back in the pit. Stone Shuffle hasn't come out yet. Aaron Marr is beginning his flying lap. And Herbago, 104.432 at the end of Sector 2. He'll try and be the sixth driver to set a lap time in the session. Run down to the final chicane. He has easily enough ERS to go for another 2 laps if he so chooses. And he spins out of the final corner and invalidates across the line. That was a 128. So it wouldn't have been a very fast lap, but a spin out of the final corner by Herbago and it's going to invalidate this lap as well. That's going to be a chunk of time lost, a chunk of very valuable time lost at that. For him, I think the best option would be to lay on the ERS and try to rush to get back to pits as quickly as possible to get another shot at this. But frustration for Herbago. And he spins again. I guess the tires are still overheated at the moment. Thankfully, there's no one else on track right now that can be an issue. Aaron Marr coming in line, 103.778 at the end of Sector 2. That's one of the best exit times at the end of Sector 2 we've seen thus far. At the line, in the Williams, Aaron Marr will set a time of 127.815. That's the second best time thus far in the session. Stone Shuffle now beginning his out lap. Boothie is still on track. And he's up by nearly 4/10 just at the end of Sector 2. Does he maintain it at the end? Yes, Boothie to the top. 127.442. That's the Boothie we all know and love. An amazing performer in qualifying. Herbago, fuel is low on that machine as he's trying to rush to get back to pits. Stone Shuffle there. You can see Aaron Marr farther up the line, but he's not worried about Aaron Marr. Right now, Stone Shuffle's just trying to get some heat in his tires. 6 drivers have set lap times. Shelby has not been able to set a proper clean lap thus far. Constant Jet has not either. Herbago was just feet away from doing so before spinning off a curb in literally the very last corner on the circuit. Stone Shuffle. This will be his first attempt. He's going to be in a... Oh! Well, Aaron Marr has had an accident on his cooldown lap. No issue for Stone Shuffle. He's still in a position to go for another proper lap. As of now, it seems to be Boothie, Books, and Aaron Marr with maybe exits the spot, vying for the pole position. Stone Shuffle begins his flyer. We're seeing a Red Bull, that would be XRL Gusty, merging back onto the circuit a bit behind the Mercedes right now. As I said a few minutes ago, back in Q2, Stone Shuffle is the only Mercedes driver being allowed to qualify in the session as his teammate Trey served a qualifying ban after retiring in the middle of the race without reason last week. So Stone Shuffle is the only Mercedes in this event that was able to qualify, and he's dragged the Mercedes team up into Q3. He's now going to try and go for a potential pole position. .822 at the end of Sector 2. That would be a very competitive lap time if he can keep it up through these final 4 corners. Hard on the brakes, but early in the acceleration. So he's definitely putting a good amount of wear on these soft tires. 127.7 flat. That's good enough for a third best thus far. Shelby, Constant Jet, and Herbago are all back out on track, going for another shot at it. Shelby will be the first to cross the line. Through the final chicane, Constant Jet now is in the middle of his lap, but he invalidates almost immediately. For him, he has to make it to the line. He should be able to make it with about 30 seconds left, so he'll get one more shot at this. Constant Jet has pulled over on circuit in order to let other drivers in the middle of proper laps get by. Herbago now begins his lap. He's going to have to hope that he can do it without spinning, bottling it at the last moment. For Herbago, it's not likely he will get another shot at this because the clock is ticking fast. Every single driver is out on track right now, either in the middle of a lap or preparing to begin their flyer. One of your championship contenders, that's this man here, WIX Spark. Now on the run through Maggots and Begg, and invalidates! So now he has to rush to get to the start-finish line in order to get another lap going. Stone Shuffle is in the pit, so he's not going to go for another lap. Aaron Marr is in the middle of the lap right now. This is Gusty at the line. He's down on time by just 500ths, but he's going to go for another lap. Schumacher is up by 1.1 seconds at the end of Sector 2. Oh, and Kosenjet is out. He retires entering pit lane and will not be able to set a proper time in the session at all. The clock is ticking. Schumacher crosses the line with a much more competitive time, 1:27.689. That's good enough for third. His teammate Chubby is in the middle of another lap. Here comes Herbago. He's invalidated again. The clock is ticking. Will he make it for another shot? Yes, he'll have one last shot, but he cannot afford to bottle it again. Stone Shuffle has retired with his time of 1:27.7. He feels confident with it. Time's up. Over now. Books, 1:27.462 is the best that he can do. Gusty is invalidated the lap he's in the middle of. X at the line. What does he do? To the top. 1:27.318. What about Aaron Marr? He is up by 35 thousandths. Will that be enough to move him up the grid? He jumps up to fourth with 1:27.687. Here comes Boothie. He is up on time. He is down. He lost it in the last sector. He will not be able to do any better than second. Schumacher, another invalid lap. Chubby needs to perform properly here because this is his last chance. Same for Herbago. Gusty coming into the pits now. It's two Ferrari-powered cars trying to do what they can do best here. At the line, what does Chubby do? 1:27.390. This is going to be a front row start for a Ferrari potentially, but Herbago wants to upset the order. The fuel is low. The ERS is burning. It's less than halfway fueled. He doesn't care. He doesn't care of how much the tires are squilling on the run through the last three corners. It's nice. It's smooth. There's one more corner left. He can't clobber the curve too hard or he'll spin. And he sets a time, but it's not going to be a very competitive one, sadly. And at the end of Q3, the end result for the top 10 is going to be Constant Jet 10th with not being able to set a proper time, Herbago 9th with a 1:28.085, Gusty 8th with a 1:27.971, Stone Shovel 7th with a 1:27.7 flat, Schumacher SF7 6th with a 1:27.689, Aaron Marr 04 with a 1:27.687, with 1:27.462, Boothie with 1:27.442, WIX Spark with 1:27.390, and X hits the spot with 1:27.318, and that is your top 10 going into our X3 race here at Silverstone. So now it's just going to be the wait until we get to the race itself. It'll be roughly a 5-minute wait. Real quickly, the question is going to be for the drivers 11th on back, what tire compound are they going to start this race on? So as it stands right now, with the 19 driver field we have, exits the spot will be starting on the soft tire compound, so if he gets a good launch off the start, he'll have a few laps to open up a good little gap on the rest of the field. But everyone from 2nd on down to 6th will be starting on the mediums. Then you have 4 drivers, Stone Shuffle, Gusty, Herbago, and Constant. They'll all be starting on the soft. So for drivers like Aaron Marr, Schumacher, and Books, they'll have to be holding off drivers on potentially faster tires for the first few laps. V8 Iron seems to be committing to the medium tires to start the race, while Shoulder's committing to the softs. Plastic Love is on the mediums, TIR Flavor is on the softs, Pingu is on the mediums, ITZ is on the mediums, Fratters is on the softs, Fiend is on the softs, and Trey seems to be on the mediums. Now we may see a few more changes in the bottom 9 drivers before the race start, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just standing by right now until we get into the race. Alright, getting into the race itself very shortly here. Going onto the track momentarily. Half distance, 50% race. So we're anticipating a single stop. Everyone will probably be going from medium to softs or soft to mediums in this race. 4 lights, 5 lights. Lights out, and away we go here at Silverstone, and there's a whole lot of movement in the back of the field, but coming to the turn 1, it's a race between Hits the Spot and Chubby, and X is going to pull off with a huge lead right off the bat, and Constant Jen is already out of the event with an accident. Herbago has fallen to the back as well. There's already a bunch of chaos. Herbago is up. TR Flavors had an incident. Constant Jen is out of the event, and it's a virtual safety car right at the start. We're going to try to get Constant Jen here real quickly to see what in the world just happened. A full course safety car, and coming into the party right now is Constant Jen. Constant, big accident. You didn't even make it through 2 corners. What in the world happened out there?
I don't know. I just got hit. So, yeah. And then I got hit again by the same car. But I can't remember what car it is, so, yay. And then, bye-bye. So, fun. Hopefully that does not happen next week, but yay, fun. So,
the interesting thing is that I don't see any cars on the racetrack that seem to have wing damage that would symbolize that they would have hit you. So that's the really weird thing, because I saw at least 3 guys go off at the same part of the circuit.
yeah, they hit me their cycle.
Oh,
And then
okay.
I hit them their cycle because I was basically drifting, and then that happened. So, come on, Fiend, I guess.
Alright, well, right Right now, Fiend is in 14th position. Might be able to make it up a bit. Oh, and Books has just had a spin. Books has gone around and will fall out of the top 10. Again, Constant, it's an absolute travesty to see you taken out of the race this early. And hopefully things turn around for the rest of your season.
Yeah, hopefully. Thanks.
And by turn around, I don't mean your car spinning, obviously.
No, I was hoping not, but yeah. Yeah, see you next week when I crash out. Yay! Bye!
Farewell. V8 Irons has had a spin off the circuit and has dropped him down to the 16th position. Plastic Glove has served his drive-through penalty, and Trey has elected to come in and put on hard tire compound. So I wonder if it was Trey who may have been the one who hit Constant Jet. Now V8 Irons is trying to make a move against his teammate Herbago, and both of them are being held up by TIR Flavor at the moment. You can't make an overtake through here. Throughout, Maggots and Beckett's, you'll have to shoot out like a cannon. XD in the corner. Herbago's been held up a bit. There's nowhere for Irons to go. He's going to try and make it 3 wide with his teammate and TIR Flavor. Herbago has to go really wide. Evasive maneuvers by the 2 Alphas. And it's going to be Herbago holds on to the position over V8 Irons for the moment. DRS now gets to get kicked in as they're coming to the start-finish line. Well, not past the start-finish line. So on the one now of the 2 DRS straights, Shelby Spark will have DRS he can utilize to keep up with X hits the spot. And he will be using that to keep pace with him. And as X tires fall off, Shelby will have a chance to pressure him and potentially make X lose significant time before he inevitably pits. Aaron Marr has closed in a little bit, but here's a battle to take note of. ITZ has lost the spot to Shola, is trying to make a crossover on the run down to Magnus and Beckett. There's one more near full throttle corner here. Both gonna make them apex properly. Oh, and Fratters is out now! And Fratters, another virtual safety car on the circuit, and Fratters, another DNF. One thing that these virtual safety cars benefit, it benefits Chubby because it means that his soft tires lifespan artificially gets increased. No one else electing to come into the pits. Obviously, we're still super early in this. And now coming into the party is Fratters. Fratters, go ahead and include your audio. What in the world happened? We're only 3 laps into the race. Yep. Well, I will ask this though. You do have a recording of what happened at least, right? Well, the only thing I'm going to say is that, at least for you, you can take the recording and share it with the officials, hope that the right thing is done, and then even if it's not, you can still share it with the court of public opinion, so that way, if it's a problematic driver or a problematic racing incident, other people can see it and realize, hey, this is a bad move, I should not do this move. So, at the least, getting a recording and sharing it for all to see can at least hopefully have better knock-on effects for the quality of the racing going forward. I did not. Next, all of a sudden, you were just out. I was following the battle farther back in the field when it happened. Alright, it's a shame to see you out this early. And especially because you're the only McLaren in today's race. It's a double shame to see you out this early. Schumacher has just had... Oh, and Boothie has spun! And Boothie spins out of what was the 4th position, and Shelby has just taken the lead from X at the front of the field. So now Boothie plummets out of the points pay position down to 12th, might even lose that to Pingu and Herbago. Here comes Herbago. He's going to overtake both of them on a single straightaway. But Chubby now has the lead over X, hits the spot. On Boothie, another spin. It's gone all sideways for Boothie. He's now falling behind. Tiara Flavor is now down to 15th position. X is right there behind Chubby, trying to make something happen. He's on the next DRS straight, so he will get a chance to close in on the Ferrari here, going down the line. But he's not close enough to make a move going into this corner. He's looking for any room to open up. Chubby's going to keep the lanes nice and tightly closed. He'll stay in Chubby's favor for now. It's Ferrari has taken the lead here at Silverstone. Farther back in the field, though, Scholl, Dusty, Schumacher, a three-way fight for 5th position with ITZ and XRL Fiend right there ready to capitalize. Dusty is right underneath the rear wing of Schumacher as we speak. V8 Irons just at the fastest time with a 130.592. They did down the medium tires. But again, those fastest lap times will drop as the fuel burns up. Realistically, fastest lap time at this point in this race only really goes to show you who is the fastest at these points in the race. They don't really matter for the points, at least, until the last 5 laps when the cars are at their lightest. Dusty right there. Oh, and X has now lost another position now to Aaron Marr. Could he have already burned off the value in those soft tires? Right there behind the Ferrari of Schumacher. Dusty going wide, can't make it stick. Now X is falling to 4th. If this keeps up, Schumacher will have a chance to overtake X. X, who started on the pole position, has now fallen, and the span of roughly a lap and a bit has gone all the way back to 4th. Maybe there is! The entire front wing is off that car. That's going to cause an issue, and now Books has had an accident. And Books is out of the race, and this will be a full course safety car. As Books has gone way off the circuit there, a full course safety car, and this will be wonderful for Exit's spot as he will get a chance to pit, repair the wing without losing any more positions. Chubby Spark is paying out of the lead. A bunch of drivers are paying out of the lead. This is going to throw a massive wrench into everything, and we're going to try and get Books in here and see what in the world just happened to take him out. Chubby throwing on hards that will last him to the race in, and Gusty has just got a penalty for a collision with Stone Shuffle. And time penalties all over the circuit now. Everything's gone to complete chaos. Drivers throwing on hards, anticipating that they can make hards last to the race in. And for Plastic Love, this is going to be a great benefit because he will be able to get caught up to the back of the field and will be able to stay on the lead lap. We're not going to see the end result of what this is going to be for a while. Herbago replacing the front wing on his car. This has really thrown a massive monkey wrench into the entire race order here. Drivers who weren't even close to the front now all of a sudden occupy the top 4 positions. Aaron Marr, Fiend, ITZ, Pingu, all of a sudden in the top 4. And the drivers who are up front exits the spot. And Chubby Spark are now buried back in the field. But for X, it could have gone worse. He is only in 12th and not dead last. And he has a new front wing on and he has tires that can last him to the end of this race now. 19 laps is how far the hards will have to take him and Chubby Spark. For the top 4, they will have to pit one more time. Oh, ITZ! Something's just gone wrong with ITZ. He's just fallen backwards and lost a chunk of positions. We're going to be under this yellow flag for a significant period of time. I don't anticipate we'll be going green until lap 9, honestly. And I have to wonder if maybe the drivers up front will consider jumping in and throwing on the hard tire compounds now so they don't lose more time pitting under green potentially. Nope, they're going to stay out. They will commit to this strategy that they have of making a pit stop later. And if there is a full course yellow later in the event, about halfway or a little bit later through, they will benefit greatly by being able to throw on softs and go hard to the end of the race. Field almost all gathered up. V8 Irons has caught the back of the field, exits the spot catch the back very shortly here. And there are enough straightaways here that for drivers like Herbago and Plastic Glove, they will be able to catch the back of the field before his lap is over. And we should be going green on this lap. Herbago actually is elected to pit. And he had fresh mediums on, so I wonder what the strategy is here in this team, for this team. This will promote Plastic Glove up into the 15th position. They're throwing on, so he's serving a time penalty here. And they will throw on a different set of medium tires. Still a fresh set, but a very strange choice to say the least. And now he's going to be 20 seconds behind, yes, Plastic Glove alone, closer to 30 seconds behind Trey. So I don't know if Herbago is going to be able to catch the back of the field before we go green this lap. Assuming we are going green this lap, which I hope we would be. The good news is, if Herbago can catch the back of the field, his tires will be nice and warm compared to the rest of the drivers ahead, and he'll be on slightly softer tires. Mediums are going to be faster than the hard, so he might be able to charge up into maybe even the points position if he gets lucky. But as it is right now, he's roughly 30 seconds off of Plastic Glove right now. I don't see any chance that he's actually going to be able to catch the back of the field. He will be up to race pace immediately, and if something happens to the drivers near the front, he should be able to gain positions quickly. But again, 30 seconds off the pace of the main pack. Well, now it's closer to 23 seconds off the main pack. Again, well, now it's down to 17 seconds. He's not going to catch the back of the field. He'll be close to them, though. And he'll be coming at full bore when this happens, so he might have timed this well enough to get a good launch coming to the green. But the focus on my end is going to be at the front. What will Shelby Spark do as Gusty has overtaken TIR Flavor as Flavor is coming into the pits? I don't know what Flavor's strategy is there, but he is coming into the pits. And Trey and Scholl have had an incident farther back. The safety car continues another lap. So they were going to go green, but now Flavor is coming to the pits, and this means that Herbago will be able to properly catch the back of the field. And Herbago is in the pits again. And they're putting on the same set of mediums that they just had, and now Chubby has a bullshit penalty for a collision with ITZ. As a bullcrap game, I don't think that happened. Considering how frequently this game gives penalties for contact that doesn't actually happen, I wouldn't be surprised if those time penalties get rescinded after the words. But Flavor and Herbago now put on new tires, and Herbago's going to have to race to catch the back of the grid again. And we are still under the yellow flag. What in the world was Herbago trying to do? He has a drive-through now as well. So I wonder if Herbago was going to try and serve a drive-through that lap, but then the safety car got extended another lap, so it ended up just putting on another set of tires. For Flavor, though, he is now on a set of hards that will last him to the race end. Well, it didn't take Herbago long to catch the back of the field that time. So now it's Fiend, Pengu, and Mar fighting for the front. Chubby is going to be the interesting one because he's been faster than all of them today, but he now has a bullcrap mess, a 5-second penalty that he'll have to cope with. There's the word, safety car coming in this lap. And we'll ride on board with the Ferrari of Chubby Spark as they come to the line. Chubby desperately trying to get heat in the tires. The pace car is pulled off. Aaron Marr controls the field. When he goes, the field goes. And they're off. And he's got a good gap right away on Fiend. Chubby is not that far off from Pengu right now. He might be able to make a move in these next few corners. As Pengu's tires already have some wear on them, he looked to the inside, couldn't make it stick. Going into turn 3, though. Oh, but he's better. He's got a better launch. They're going to be side by side. Coming on into this back straightaway. And it looks like the Ferrari will promote himself up into the 3rd position. So Shelby now on the redemption road, trying to get back to the lead. Irons overtakes Schumacher for the 9th position. The field trying to spread out relatively quickly. Although Herbago and TR Flavor has already fallen off the back of the grid. And a reminder, Herbago has a drive-through penalty he will have to serve. Oh, Plastic Glove is out! One of your championship contenders, Plastic Glove, has just gone out of the race. And that's a full course safety car. This shouldn't be a long full safety car. The entire field is still relatively close. But what was a very clean first few laps of the race has now gone to complete chaos. And there's an Aston Martin coming in the pits, and that should be ITZ. Plastic Glove coming in the party now. Plastic, an accident in qualifying, an accident in the race now. What in the world happened out there?
I'm not sure what happened. It's that one turn. Even in qualifying, I couldn't make it work there. Even like in the race, I don't even know what I did. I was just coming around the corner. I even like let off the gas a bit because I knew that corner's triggered for me, and it's just same thing happened.
Well, I do have to ask. This is going to give you a significant hit in the points. Do you think you can make up the points in the upcoming races, though?
What track is next?
I will admit I don't know off the top of my head. I'm sorry to say.
I don't know. But I mean, Great Britain's always been it's been a tricky track for me. I've never really got it right. But I think I could win this race.
Alright. Well, it's a shame to see this for you. It's been a rough season for you. And hopefully you can start getting things turned around in the right direction next week. A shame to see 2 massive accidents take you out this early in both qualifying and in the race itself now. Alright, so as we turn our focus back to the points battle, as it stands right now, Fiend, who is 3rd in points, stands to gain a good amount. Shelby is 2nd in points, and your teammate, Classic, it's Gusty, is still leading the points. But Gusty is down in the field behind those top 2, behind the other 2 in the battle, so it could end up being very interesting. Schumacher and Flavor just about to catch the back of the field. Will they go green this lap? It does not look like it. I don't see any evidence to suggest that the safety car is coming in this lap. Schumacher is throwing on medium tires that he's going to try and make last to the end of this race now. We are still under this full course yellow, and Schold is electing to come into the pits now. He has hard tires on, so now I have to wonder if he's going to elect to throw on mediums so he can be a little bit faster on the run to the end. At this point, you only have to go about 14 flying laps. Mediums would indeed probably be a better option. You'd be faster on 14-lap-old mediums at the end of the race than you would on 14-lap-old hards. He's also serving a penalty now. Down to just 15 cars on the racetrack. Not been able to get a lot of green flag running, and Herbago now has a time penalty for a collision he's had with Schumacher, supposedly. Personally, though, I'm going to be very interested to see what this man can do. Shelby Spark, he is ahead of 2 drivers who have yet to pit, and he is behind 2 drivers who have yet to pit. If he can get by them quickly, he might be in a very good position going to the end. He does not have to make any more stops. And while drivers like ITZ or Schumacher, TIR Flavor, and Schold might be on a better tire strategy, they're far enough down the grid that I don't know if they can catch up. But Shelby has a 5-second penalty that may or may not get rescinded post-race. near the green this lap. Lap 13, so almost halfway through this event. There's the word, safety car coming in this lap. Chubby very daringly went against Pingu and overtook him in the first 5 corners. Will he be able to do the same to anyone around him? A reminder, Fiend was right ahead of him as one of his championship rivals. His other one, Gusty, is still buried in the 7th position. Here you can see the pace car pulling in as we're right on board the Ferrari Chubby Spark. Coming to the green flag. What can he do on the restart? Away we are. Fiend has immediately gets a time penalty for track violations as they came to the green flag. He's putting pressure on Aaron Marr right at the start though. The top 2 already fighting it out. Alpine versus Williams at the front, with the Ferrari ready to capitalize. Not close enough to do anything in the top 5 in the first 5 corners this time around though. But farther back, V8 Irons is trying to do something to Gusty ahead. To the inside, which turns into the outside on the following corner. He's gone around the outside. The fresher, hard tire compound served him well, but he couldn't make the pass stick around a much, much longer way around that corner. Irons, will he go for another shot before they get into Maggots and Beckett's? Doesn't look like it. But Gusty not doing very good. Here comes Irons with a great shot. Booty overtakes Pingu farther up. That may make a little bit of a scatterbrain set of moves up ahead. Irons trying to go around the outside of Gusty. Can he make it stick? He cannot make it stick. Again, he's trapped on the outside, and while those tires are softer, it's not enough to overcome the fact that he's been forced to take longer runs around the track. He's by him. He gets by him in the chicane. Irons up into the 7th position now. Owen Herbago is out. At the front though, Fiend trying to make a lunge on the Williams of Aaron Marr. As they come onto the back straight once more, Fiend can't keep pace with Aaron. But again, these 2 drivers will have to pit. Fiend throwing it up everywhere he can, but he's just incurring time penalties and not really getting much done against Aaron Marr. And Chubby Spark is there, ready to capitalize. V8 Irons, Stone Shuffle, both of them have just gone off circuit and will fall to the 12th and 13th, might even fall further than that as TR Flavor will be able to sneak by them. And Gusty gets by Pingu now. So Gusty, despite losing a position in the prior lap, has now gained 3 this lap. Pingu may have damage. He is falling all the way down to 7th and seems to be struggling to keep pace throughout Maggots and Beckett's. Trey is now by him. I don't see any damage, but it seems like whatever happened took him way offline and really messed with his mojo. At the front, Chubby has closed in on Fiend, and Aaron Marr is coming to the pits. Now it's Chubby versus Fiend. And Chubby will have DRS against Fiend whenever DRS gets enabled again. And there it is, DRS is enabled. So he will have DRS on Fiend going down the upcoming straight. This set of corners here, very, very difficult to navigate, but he's done a good job thus far. He loses a bit of time to Fiend for the moment though. But he still has DRS and will close back in on him a bit on this straight. Aaron Marr, Irons, Schumacher all pitting. And for Marr and Irons, it's soft tire compounds that they will make last to the end. They only may make the softs last for 12 more laps. Chubby having trouble keeping up with Fiend right now. Seems as if Fiend is opening a gap against Chubby. The fresh air ahead really helping him at the moment. Schold trying to make a move on his teammate Pingu on the run down to Maggots and Beckett's. Pingu will have to back out, and Schold will take that position. This is good for ITZ because he'll get a chance to close in on Pingu ahead. Not close enough to get DRS, sadly, but he is within drafting range. And Fiend is now pitting out of the top spot. Boothie is pitting out third as well. So at this point, it becomes Chubby and Gusty, 1 and 2, your two primary championship contenders, leading the race with exits to Spot, who was your pole setter and had his front wing ripped off earlier. He has now rebounded to third and might be able to do something against Gusty for second. Chubby has a 5.3 second lead over Gusty at the moment. For Boothie and Pingu, it's soft tires. For Aaron Marr and Fiend, it was soft tires as well. So if you're pitting at this point in the race, it seems plain to me that soft tires are the way to go. X closed right onto the rear end of Gusty, going into Maggots and Beckett's. Can't make a move here, though, unless Gusty makes a mistake. But he's close enough that he'll have DRS on the Red Bull going down the following straight. He's within a quarter of a second, now within a fifth, a tenth. He's alongside, and his nose is ahead at the end of the straight. ITZ trying to do something against Shoal as Stone Shuffle overtakes TIR Flavor for 7th. Trey closing in. Oh, and Pingu is out! And Pingu has had an accident. And that's a full course safety car as Pingu is out of the race. And the entire event has now been turned on its head once more. And for Chubby Spark, this could be great for him because he could elect to come into the pits potentially, throw on soft tires. The problem, though, is that he will have to deal with potentially overtaking other drivers. We're going to try and get Pingu in here to see what happened to take him out of this race. The gap between Shelby and X is 7 seconds at the moment. The other problem, though, is that if Shelby comes in the pits, he may have to serve that 5-second time penalty that he's going to likely try and get removed from him after this race is over. So it may be better for him to just deal with the hard tires. Again, the next person behind him who has faster or fresher tires is back there in 5th and 6th, Scholl on 4-lap mediums and ITZ with 5-lap hards. Schumacher is in the pits right now in the Ferrari camp, and they're playing on soft tires. And there's your word, Shelby is coming into the pits. So he will probably end up serving the 5-second penalty, and if so, that's going to drop him significantly down the order. As X is staying out, Gusty is coming in, Trey is staying out, Scholl is staying out, ITZ is coming in, Stone Shuffle is going to come in, TIR Flavor is going to come in, but Fiend is going to stay out. So yeah, this is going to really upend the order for the race here. But no, Shelby did not serve the 5-second penalty. So he still might get those 5 seconds removed post-race, and he will be on soft tires while everyone ahead of him will be on a more worn and a harder set of compound. The guy right behind him, though, is going to be this man here, No, I take that back. Fiend is going to be ahead. Aaron Marr is going to be ahead of Gusty as well. In fact, Boothie is going to be ahead. So Gusty, this may have worked negatively for him because he's going to lose a chunk of time. He's going to be behind multiple drivers now. However, Gusty has served the time penalty. He will not have to worry about time penalties for a bit, or his time penalties that he will incur will be minimal, and that may help him because all these yellow flags keep the field bunched up, and it benefits drivers who serve time penalties significantly. And I was wrong. Shelby did serve his time penalty. So he's going to try and go for this from 4th. Also, V8 Irons is in the pits. They're throwing on soft tires. ITZ has medium tires on, interestingly enough. And we're probably not going to go green until I'm thinking lap 20 right now because V8 Irons and Schumacher are a long way back from the lead group right now. But of note, all 13 drivers who are still on track are all still on the lead lap at this moment. The constant yellow flags have basically made it that no one can really go a lap down today. Again, the drivers to watch are Gusty, Fiend, and Shelby Spark. Those are your three main championship contenders, with Schumacher and Stone Shuffle being slightly more outside factors. But with Stone Shuffle and Schumacher right now both out of the points paying position, their impact is likely going to be significantly more reduced. Again, Gusty has 68 points, Shelby has 53, Fiend has 49, Schumacher has 46, and Stone Shuffle has 43. As it is right now, Shelby would close the gap on Gusty if they're finished where they are by a significant amount, and Fiend would close also on Gusty. The drivers in the top three, X, Trey, and Scholl, this could be very good for him. Trey, especially considering he only has 1 point this far in the season. V8 Irons is still a good 30 seconds off from the back of the grid. He should start closing relatively quickly here. He should be able to make up the 30-second gap on this lap, him and Schumacher. With that in mind, we've already got down to 25 seconds. With that in mind, we should be going green on lap 20, so we'll have 7 flying laps to the end, assuming there are no more yellows. And again, oh, and Schumacher's had a spin while trying to catch up to the back of the field. Spins out in the aerodynamic wake of Iron's car, but the machine is still all in one piece, and as long as the tires aren't too badly damaged, he will still be able to catch up to the back of the field and shouldn't have to worry too badly. As we look at time penalties real quickly, ITZ, 14 seconds worth of time penalties. Scholl has 5 seconds. Fiend, Aaron Marr, and Boothby all have 6 seconds. V8 Irons has 3 seconds, and Schumacher still has a drive-through. So for Schumacher, it's unlikely he'll be able to earn points today unless he serves that drive-through and then gets a yellow flag to bunch the field back up for him to start making up positions again. He's currently 12 seconds off the back of the field. We'll close most of that up real shortly here, though. So once again, Shelby, he made his way up from 4th to 3rd earlier, and then the drivers ahead pitted. Now, Shelby is going to have to make all 3 of these positions ahead of him up on driver ability and a little bit of good timing with DRS. He needs to hope that the race stays just green enough, long enough for him to gain the positions. And here's the other thing for Shelby. All the drivers behind him, Fiend, Marr, Boothby, and Gusty, they all have soft tires as well. Slightly more worn than his, but it's not going to matter this late in the race. So he cannot afford to make a mistake. If he starts making a mistake, he will start losing points. He needs to go on the attack immediately. And for X and Trey, this could be great. This could start turning their seasons around as they're coming to the green flag. X gets a great launch off the start. Trey, not as much. Scholl is already under threat from Shelby X Spark on the run down to the line. Fiend trying to get along the outside of Shelby IX Spark. Can't do anything yet. This section of the track is a little bit too tight to really make a move unless the driver ahead makes a significant mistake. Shelby has a run on Scholl coming onto the back straightaway. He's within 2/10, but without DRS, it's not very easy to make a move here. He has to back out of it. Fiend putting significant pressure on a championship rival as Scholl is making a move on the inside of Trey. They're going to be side by side. Someone's got to back out of this corner. Who will it be? Trey backs out just a little bit, and Shelby is now faster than him. Will he back out? Will he stay in it? They're staying in, going to the maggots, and Shelby has to back way out. That means that Fiend will be able to get alongside. Fiend tries to make the move. Boothby gets run off the circuit. Aaron Marr is able to get by, and Fiend falls all the way back to 9th. 10th. He has to back way out, and now he is out of the points paying positions. So in an ironic way, although Shelby didn't end up gaining any positions, that move worked in his favor. He has not lost any spots, and one of his championship rivals have now been squeezed out of the points-paying positions. Schumacher will serve his drive-through penalty here and that will drop him back out of the points. Now Shelby has to go after it again. X is still ahead of Scholl, and Scholl is gotten by Trey. Trey on very worn hard tires that he's been on almost since the start of the race. He's gonna have nose case to oh, and Fiend has just had an incident. Fiend has crashed and is fallen to 12th position. Shelby on the run against Trey, but there's still no DRS. He can't seem to do anything. He's gonna try and look to the inside, can't make a move stick. He's looking on the outside of Trey and gain a straighter, faster line. Now, Trey with a massive twitch. The tires are falling off for the Mercedes. He'll fall from 3rd to 5th and might even lose that to Boothie. Shelby is now up in the 3rd position, and the next driver will have to chase it down and pass Willie Scholl, who is on a much better tire strategy right now. Not better than Shelby's, but it's better than what Trey has to deal with. Gusty, time penalty for track violations. Oh, Trey! Really sideways out of Beckett's, and Beckett's very nearly crashed on his own. Now he's fallen to 7th. Those tires seem to be gone for him. And now V8 Irons gets alongside, a little bit of contact. V8 Irons is around now, and he saved it. V8 Irons with a crazy drift saved it, and he'll be able to hold on to 8th for the moment. He still has much better tires than Trey. He should be able to get by him shortly. Now, Shelby will be able to use DRS against Scholl on the upcoming straight if he just stays within range of him. The big day is going to be X hits the spot, who is nearly 3 seconds ahead right now. Scholl seems to be struggling on his tires just a little bit, and Shelby has a great run with the DRS assist. Going down the straight, the nose is already ahead, the entire car is already ahead. Shelby is back up into 2nd now. It's 2.5 seconds between himself and X hits the spot, who is leading the race. V8 Irons has finally gotten by Trey using DRS assist at the front. Fiend's coming to the pits again to repair damage. Aaron Marr right there trying to do something against Scholl. Marr is on faster tires than Scholl, but Scholl is doing a good job for the moment. Boothie is there ready to capitalize as well. This could end up being a very, very solid finish for Boothie. Boothie's normally great in qualifying, but struggles in the race. Right now, though, that doesn't seem to be the case. He is right there in this DRS train. He looks to the inside of the Williams. The Williams look to the inside of the Haas. No one could make any move because they all were stuck in a DRS train off the back of Shelby right now. Shelby has already closed the gap from the lead, down from 2.5 seconds to 1.5 in about 3/4 of a lap. He has set the fastest lap time of 1:29.619, and he's still going faster, trying to run down X hits the spot. At this rate, he might be able to overtake the leader on this lap or the next. Aaron Marr is being badly held by Scholl, and now Boothie gets a run on him. Boothie alongside Aaron Marr through the first sector of the circuit, side by side, and now they come onto the first of the 2 DRS straights, and Aaron Marr is back in front for the moment. Boothie has the run on Aaron Marr. He looks to the inside. He looks twice, 3 times, a little bit of contact. He's ahead, but he's going to have to take the longer way around on the long, sweeping round corner, and he's going to spin on his own, and he's into the wall. No serious damage to the car, but Boothie plummets out of the top 9. Might even lose that because TR Flavor is going to get by him. And that is great for Gusty because this promotes him up into the 5th position now. Aaron Marr continues to put pressure on Scholl, and Shelby has got DRS now on exits the spot. He looks to the inside of the leading Williams and will overtake him. For the Ferrari, he has no time penalties. He has no one ahead of him. He just needs to open up the gap and run away from the rest of the field. His 2 biggest points rivals are way back in the field and not in a great position right now either. This could be the great turnaround he needed after a travesty of a race last week. Trey has just had an accident. And on 20-lap worn hard tires, it seems like this race is falling away from him. He's going to come into the pits, and will likely, he misses coming into the pits. So he'll stay out another lap. But for Trey, I don't know if he's even going to be able to stay in the top 10 if another incident like that happens. Gusty and Irons are fighting for the 5th and 6th positions right now. Gusty is ahead for the moment. Irons is faster on the straight. Gusty has draft off Scholl, but Irons is already on his inside. He makes the lunge, neck and neck. Gusty is ahead, runs a little bit wide. That puts Gusty back ahead, but Irons has the faster lane. Gusty is going to put the power down out of the corner. He'll be a little bit faster on this sector of the racetrack, but it's not easy to make an overtake here. He looks to the outside, but he's not fast enough to pull alongside of him at the moment. SF7, speeding penalty in the pit lane. It seems like right now there's no way for him to end up in the points paying positions. Gusty has fallen to 6th in his fight with Irons. Oh, and Stone Shuffle is going to get by ITZ, as ITZ's medium tires just have nothing compared to the softs right now. Aaron Marr has had an instant, and he has now fallen all the way down to 6, and Gusty gets back by Scholl now. Marr is going to get by Scholl, or try to at least, going through turn 1. He'll complete the pass, and Scholl has fallen down the order. He had to back way out. Now he's back there in the 8th position, as ITZ is still trying to fight back against Stone Shuffle. Schumacher, another spin. It's all gone sideways for him. Shelby has opened up more than slightly a second gap against X's spot. He's just hitting his marks, not trying to do anything crazy to the end here. X's tires, while still usable, are not nearly as fast as Shelby's. His goal is going to be to stay ahead of this man here, V8 Irons. Gusty has recovered a bit. It looks like he might be able to finish 4th unless the time penalties he has are excessive. He only has 3 seconds worth of time penalties, so this could still work out in his favor. Stone Shuffle against Aaron Marr. He's going to get him, as Marr is on older soft tire compounds, and they're going to start falling off now. So Stone Shuffle is now up in the 5th spot and is going to try and make a charge against Gusty for 4th. Marr, another time penalty, and now ITZ is going to try and do something against Marr. Runs a little bit wide through there. Exits the spot, now gets a time penalty. So now Shelby is really in a good position. You shouldn't have to worry at all. Everyone behind him who could even remotely be a threat has time penalties. He does not. Stone Shuffle, this is the last lap. He wants to see if he can do anything to Gusty, but Gusty has time penalties. Stone Shuffle does not. So Stone Shuffle can just be on Gusty's rear wing. He will have that position at least. ITZ, another time penalty. It's all falling apart for him, it would seem. Oh, and he's off! And he spins just like Boothie did a few laps ago on the entrance into the old pit lane. And he's going to lose a bunch of time, but he's not going to lose too much when it comes to anything else. TR Flavor has caught Scholl as well for the 8th position. Scholl has time penalties, Flavor does not, but Flavor might be able to make this overtake on ability if he's lucky. Stone Shuffle, he's got DRS on Gusty. He is closing rapidly on the straight, but I don't think he's going to be able to get alongside and get a better line. He goes, he shoots, but he can't make it stick. Boothie has had another spin, and ITZ has fallen behind Scholl and TIR Flavor in another accident. Chubby crosses the line with the victory. And at the line, it's Chubby. Access the spot. V8 Iron Stone Shuffle leapfrogs Gusty on penalty countback. Aaron Marr will finish 6th. Scholl is going to try and get 7th, but TIR Flavor wants it as well. He's not close enough. I think Flavor will still get 7th though on penalty countback. At the line. Indeed. Scholl falls to 9th on penalty countback. And it's going to be between ITZ and XRL Fiend for 10th. But ITZ is far enough ahead. Although he seems to be out of fuel, it's going to be close, but I think he'll be able to cross the line far enough ahead of Fiend for him to hold on to 10th. He'll get another 5 seconds worth of time penalties, so it's still going to be iffy. Does Fiend have few enough penalties to make up against ITZ at the line? The answer is yes, he does. So Fiend does make it into the points at the very end of the race. And for WIX Spark, it is a much-needed victory, and it rekindles his championship hopes after the disastrous run he had last week. And I personally would say he deserves Driver of the Day for being confident enough to be able to make that happen. Trey, getting Driver of the Day, I could see that happening also, considering he wasn't even able to do qualifying today. But we're going to try and get Chubby into the party and see what he has to say about that victory out there. An incredible run, and it's always great to see a Ferrari win. Alright, and coming into the party right now is your race winner, Chubby IX Spark. Chubby, go ahead, include your audio, an impressive victory. What do you have to say about that run today?
I thought under the second safety car, somebody ran into the back of me. I thought that was going to be it. I had a 5 second. Everybody else around me had no penalties. I don't know what happened. I just fucking was on rails today. I'm so glad I got a win. I could have got a win at Spain. I could have got a win at what is the other track? Austria. Oh, I'm just so glad I got this win.
Well, I want to add even more good news to that. Not only did you get this win, but your two biggest rivals in the points, Gusty and Fiend, weren't even close to you. Gusty only finished 5th. Fiend barely eked out a 10th place position. So not only is this a great win for you and the Ferrari team, this will also help you significantly in the points battle after the disaster that happened last week.
Yeah, I mean, none of us finished, right, last week? Ferraris? None of us finished?
Yeah.
And also, Aston Martin didn't score any points, and I'm pretty sure that's who was leading, right?
Yeah, Aston Martin, both of their cars were just outside of the points at the end. So yeah.
I think we're 1 point behind.
Yeah, you would have brought home 25 points. You didn't get fastest lap, sadly. Fiend got them by pitting relatively late. But yeah, you're going to bring home a chunk of points in both Drivers and Manufacturers Championship. Definitely closed up the title a bit between you and Gusty, at least.
Yeah. I do have to say, Viet Irons, that was a really good race from him. I didn't really see him much, but saw him pop in my leaderboard. He had a pretty good race. 11th to 3rd. Pretty good. Okay, well I'm gonna go watch the Eagles and 49ers stock, by the way. See ya.
Alright, well congratulations on your victory. Grazi Ragazzi for the Ferrari out there.
Sir.
Alright, the race winner, Chubby IX Spark, and again finishing with no penalties. He actually overcame a 5-second penalty that he served in the pit lane and was still able to come from 4th to 1st at the end. A tremendous run, and this makes him, in my opinion at least, a very valid championship threat here for the X3 title. Ferrari has not won the X3 title before in XRL. They've come close, but they've not been able to win it yet. That might be able to change to this season, though, if Chubby can keep this up. Anyways, I have been Insane Leader 13. There's not really a whole lot else on my end to really cover, but it's been a very, very fascinating day, to say the least, here at Silverstone. Now it is time for us to go ahead and close down our broadcast. We'll see you in a week's time, but in about an hour after this broadcast is over, on the main channel, you can catch the last Silverstone race of the day, the X2 race. I encourage you to check that out if you're interested for more F1 2021 racing from XRL. Next week, at 5 p.m. UK time on Sunday, it's going to be X1 on the main channel, X3 on this channel. At 8 p.m. UK time, it will be X2 on the main channel. I've been your host, Insane Leader 13, and it's a great day because it's been a Ferrari victory. I wish you all farewell and have a good day.